Hi guys, today I want to continue my video series on how to prepare for the economic collapse. And I want everybody to think right now what they would do in a collapse scenario, especially if there wasn't any type of grid power, or if they had to bug out, or if they had to escape off into the wilderness and live off the land. And that's a very real scenario, especially for many people who believe in the Christian religion as I do, and I feel that we may be in a situation with a one world government, one world religion, and one world currency where we're going to have to escape into the wilderness or into the mountains in order to avoid what's coming to us. And I think most of us agree, if you're not a Christian, that there is an economic collapse coming and that we all need to know how to prepare food that we have stored away in particular. And we need to know how to prepare it in a way that doesn't require anything from society whatsoever, any power or anything like that. And I have some wheat berries that I've stored away for about 3 years now. I had them in Mylar sacks with oxygen absorbers and food grade buckets. And basically I pulled them out and I'm going to make bread out of this grain. I also have powdered milk and stored honey. And the only thing that I have that wasn't stored away that I'm going to use fresh is water. And basically I'm going to show you how you can cook it without using any power whatsoever. Now I'm going to cheat one time and you'll see it on the video. It's because I'm going to use my electric grain grinder, and I do have a manual grinder, but it's located about an hour away from my house in a storage shed. So I didn't go and get that today, but I could get it very easily in a jam, and all it would require is a little bit more elbow grease than what you're going to see today. So anyway, without further ado, I want to take you and show you how to cook bread using no power whatsoever and using your food storage. I'm going to start off by grinding the wheat berries that I had stored away, and it's quite loud so I won't be able to talk during it, but anyway I'll just show you how this thing works. This is my electric wheat grinder, and here goes. Basically this thing will just eat away all this wheat and grind it into nice fine flour for us, and it'll be perfect for making bread with it. Okay, I'm done grinding all the wheat, and it basically made a great whole wheat flour for bread, and this is very nutritious. It's much better than the white flour that you can buy at the store. Whole wheat contains the endosperm such as the white flour, but this also contains all the wheat germ and the bran, so it's very nutritious for you. This can keep you going for a very, very long time. Okay, we have all the ingredients put here in this bowl, and I'll put the ingredients up in my information box, so if you want this recipe you can have it. It's pretty good. And you just simply start stirring it. It's a long process, but it brings out the pioneer spirit in you. And you work this until this dough's too stiff to stir any longer. And then make sure you have clean hands. And once it gets about like that, you can just start squishing it. And when it start forming a kneading ball in here. And the kneading process is basically you're folding it in half and squishing it down. That's all you have to do. Fold it in half, squish it down. And you're going to do this for about 10 minutes. So I'll go ahead and cut the video here so I won't bore you to death. Okay, I've been kneading it for about 10 minutes and it forms a good dough ball. Whole wheat isn't very elastic dough. It more shreds apart like that, but as long as it's sticky and well mixed together and you've kneaded it for about 10 minutes, that's about all you need. Okay, and now's the long part where you have to let the bread rise. You want to just form it up into a ball and basically coat it in oil, or if you have butter available to you, and you cover it. You can cover it with plastic, but in the pioneer spirit of things, I'm going to go ahead and cover it with just a regular towel. And you leave it in the oven at about 110 to 120 degrees for about an hour. Alright, now I'm going to show you the magic of making bread without any power at all. Now you could use wood or something like that, But here in Texas, it's sunny a lot. And anywhere that has sun, and it really doesn't matter how cold it is, you can use a solar oven. And I've had this solar oven now for about 4 years, and it's never once failed to cook my food. In fact, I've had it out here in the sun for about half an hour now. And I'll show you. Right here's my temperature gauge, and as you can see, it's right near 300 degrees. And this solar oven basically is just using the sunlight to get all of its heat. It's like a hot car on a summer day. It's black inside, has a glass panel in front of it, and it just absorbs so much heat. And I've seen this thing in the midsummer here in Texas hit 400 degrees. So it's a great thing to have during an economic collapse if your grid power fails you, if you're living off the grid, or even if you're bugging out and you can pack one of these up with you. It folds up nice into like a suitcase sized deal if you're escaping with your family or something like that. So anyway, this is a great tool, and the bread's still rising, and I'll bring it out here in a minute. Okay, I put a loaf of bread in the oven, and it'll take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to cook it. It just really depends on how bright the sun is, if there's cloud cover or anything like that. But so long as it stays above 250, you're pretty good. It'll cook anything at 250 or above. Right now it's at 250 because I opened the door and let all the heat out, and it'll take probably about half an hour for it to get back up to 300. So anyway, I coated the bread with butter, but you can also use oil, and it'll make the crust nice and crispy, and it's a delicious loaf of bread. So anyway, I'll let this cook for about an hour to an hour and a half, and I'll be back then. Hey, it's about 2 hours later, and I've been gone. I got called on an emergency business call. I had to just attend to this network that went down. It was a drastic emergency for these people. But anyhow, this bread has been sitting in the solar oven for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And it's cooked. You can see the browning on the bread. This is good wholesome bread, and we'll have that for dinner tonight. And this is just one of those things that'll get you a little more free from society, not being reliant on the world or anything in the world to be able to cook your food. If you want to be independent from power or be off the grid, this is a fantastic device to have. You can build these things. There's many links on the internet about it. You can even make them out of a cardboard box. I've seen people make them out of pizza boxes, and they're very handy just to have around. We use it all the time, especially in the summer, but they'll work well in the winter too. I've seen people use them in the snow. As long as it's sunny out, they'll work just fine. So anyway, I hope this was educational for you. It's not it's not really run-of-the-mill knowledge, so I thought I'd share it with you, and I think you'd find it interesting. So I hope you did. I'll see you next time. Thanks.